Hey guys, welcome back to my channel KnowledgeKeen, and this is another session of React where we are going to see how to pass data from child to parent. Now till now we were learning how to pass the data from parent to child. Now we are going to do the other way around. So there are multiple ways to do this, but before we go look into that, you know what to do. Just click on the subscribe button and we will be posting multiple videos which you can enjoy. So in our previous video, we saw how we were doing styling and all that stuff. But in this video, we are going to see how to pass the data from child to parent. If you want to know how to pass the data from parent to child, we have already seen this. If you have not seen that video, I would like to say, I'll just mention the link here or here somewhere on the top. You can go ahead and watch that session. Okay. And then come back to this so that you can just learn how to do it the vice versa thing. Multiple frameworks do this from parent to child and child to parent. All the frameworks have their own way of doing it, but I think it's my perspective that React has the most simplest way to do that, and there are multiple ways to do this. So let me quickly share my screen so that you all can enjoy. Okay, let me quickly go ahead and do that. Yep, let's create as this is a new video, let's create a new component. So this is going to be two components, a parent and child, so that we can see how this whole thing is going to pan out. Parent component .js. Oh, there is already a child component. We don't need this child component for now. Let me just quickly remove the complete code. Let me remove this props also. So we also have a parent and a child component. So we do have both. Let me quickly create this component. Parent component equal to something like this. Return h1 hello world, because we need to see whether it renders or not. So it's always a good habit to see if your component is rendering, so that you write the complete code and then keep on checking whether it is rendering or not. Instead of that, we can simply just simple render one h1 called as hello world, so that you know that that component is rendering. So now my parent component is rendering, and let me quickly go ahead and add in the child component. This is a child component. Okay. And let's render child component into my parent component. To do that, let me quickly add some fragments. You know what is a fragment and child component. It automatically got imported. You have to remember that. Oops, I messed with the round brackets. Yep. So we have our parent component, that is a hello world, simple. And in parent component, we rendered the child component. And this child component has a simple line. This is a child component, and everything is rendered properly into our DOM. Let's see what are the ways doing to pass the data from child to parent. There are basically three ways usually we do. The one is using props, which is like a very interesting and the simplest way to do this whole thing. The another one is context API, which we have in queue, which we are going to create a video soon. And also we have something called as Redux. Redux is actually a vast concept and one of the most interesting too. So we are going to see this in our future videos. Okay, but it all basically it's all about state management. So what is state management? How you can save a variable in one component and use the value of that same thing into another component. All these three lie on the same principle, whether you're using props, whether you're using context API, whether you're using Redux. Context and Redux we are going to see later, but in this video we are going to see how we can do the same thing using props. Okay, so let's quickly jump into our parent component and create a function. So from parent to child, you usually pass the data using values, simple attributes and values. But whenever you need to pass the data from child to parent, you need something called as a callback function. So basically you're calling back the value or the function from child to parent. You're jumping back, in short. So that's a callback function. So to do that, let me quickly create, not console, const a handle click event. So that's my, what am I doing? And in this console.log, no errors, log a simple handle click event fired. A simple event which we have seen a lot of times now. And here I pass this as an attribute, as a property to my child component, that is, let me quickly change the name, handle my click. Okay, and I pass the same value, that is my function. Till now we have seen that we were passing values, something like this, that counter equal to some 5, 10, something like this. So basically we were passing values and simple variables. But now we are going to pass the complete function from my parent to my child. This is important. You need to understand that we are passing a complete function. And in my child component, I can catch it using props, and I can use it like props dot, what was the name? Handle my click, right? So you can use something like this, or instead of that, we have seen the destructuring. We can simply type handle my click, so we don't have to write props dot all over again. Here, let me quickly take a button, and to do that, I'll just quickly add a button, and on click of this button, I will not call any function that is in child component, but I am going to call the function that is in my parent component directly from my child component. So this is how you're firing the event from child to parent. So click here. Oops, bad habit using material. It's a small b. Button. So you can see this is the child component and button is here. Let me quickly go to our console, clean it up, and whenever I click this, the event from my parent component is fired. If you want, let's quickly add the word parent so that we know that this is being called from my parent component. So I just quickly click here, and parent, yes, it is calling from the parent. So who is calling the event from the parent component? My child component. It's as easy. Now when it comes to passing some value, let me create a simple constant variable that can be state, that can be basically you're using use state or any variable. So here I'm simply adding a small variable like with a value of 50. Okay, and I need to pass this value from my child to my parent. Again, it's the same way. You have to call this function, and that's the way we write something like this. We have seen in our previous video, and I'll just simply pass this counter variable. I'm passing this counter from where? From my child, and my parent needs to, I'm just throwing the value, I'm catching it over here. Oops, not in the parent component, in my event count, and I'll just print the value of it. Simple comma and cnt, that should print the value 50. So whenever I'm clicking here, the value, it's being thrown from my child component like 50, and that is being sent to my parent component. Now you might think that does this event is required, something like this, whether I can send the data using an event only. No, you can write your own methods, and after, let's say that after API call you're going to send the data to the parent component, you can do this. So basically after anything, so let's say that I have an API call, I'm not going to write the whole API call over here, but let's say that after API call is successful, you want to just simply do this, that you want to call this function, you just have to do this, and that would still work. So once your API is successful, this is going to be called. This is not the way we write an API call, and I'm not going to confuse it writing this over here right now because we are going to see it later. But the main motto of telling you this is that it is not compulsory to send or to execute the callback event from an event only. So it is not compulsory that we just write it on click, on double click, on any of the event that is being fired. You can call this callback method anywhere into your child component. I hope this was easy for you to see how we are passing the data from child to parent. If you have any more confusion, I would definitely like to hear you in the comment section below. Please push all the things that you have confusing, or if I have missed something while teaching this video, I'll probably create some post on the Instagram or somewhere. You need to follow me on the Instagram for that, so that you can, I'm just publishing all your queries, all important points, interview questions, then what are the tips and tricks while writing React, JavaScript, Angular, and all that stuff. I'm trying to push it on the Instagram, and I hope that would be useful for you. So follow me on Instagram as well. I'll just mention the handle somewhere below or after this video. And I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, and there are various multiple interesting videos that are going to come in. Okay, right now till here basically we are just having the basic React. So till here it was like a core React part, but from here on the videos are going to be a bit tougher. Okay, the language is going to be a bit tough, the code is going to be a bit tough, because the advanced part starts from here, from this day itself. Thank you for subscribing if you have already subscribed, and I hope if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe. Thank you so much. Keep watching.